Imagine stumbling across an old half-torn map with a big red X on it, or finding a mysterious letter filled with uncrackable codes, or hearing a wild story from an old-timer in a tiny town about someone who supposedly buried a whole fortune in the backyard of an abandoned church decades ago. Sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But believe it or not, there are real buried treasures in the US that have never been found, and their stories are weirder, darker, and more dangerous than anything Hollywood could dream up. Today, you're about to dive into 7 true legends involving hidden fortunes stashed deep inside secret caves, gold mines protected by ancient Native American curses, codes that not even top cryptographers have been able to crack, and shipwrecks so valuable they could change your life forever. But heads up, these stories aren't for the faint of heart. Some are tied to mysterious deaths, ancient curses, and bloody rivalries. Others involve codes that have left researchers scratching their heads for over a century. And the wildest part? Every single one of these treasures is still missing. In this video, you'll find out which treasure is worth over $2 billion, which location is said to be cursed, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and which code, if cracked, could reveal a mountain of gold hidden somewhere in Virginia. Stick with me till the end, and let me know in the comments, which one of these treasures would you go after? And which one would you leave buried out of fear of being cursed? If you're into mystery stories, real history, secret codes, and American legends, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because today, you're stepping into the real world of treasure hunters. Get ready, because our first story has decapitated bodies, hidden gold, and a big red X right in the middle of the Arizona desert. 1. The cursed treasure of the Lost Dutchman's Mine. Out in the scorching Arizona desert, between jagged cliffs and dangerous trails, lies one of the oldest and deadliest treasure legends in America, the story of the Lost Dutchman's Mine. This so-called curse surrounding the lost mine isn't just ghost stories. It is backed by a trail of real deaths. Many never made it out alive. Some were found beheaded, others mutilated, and some just vanished without a trace. Later, the Peralta family got a land grant covering the superstitions. At least 10 people died in separate incidents while searching for the mine. Some experienced explorers, others total rookies. Some bodies were found in bizarre positions. Others never found at all. They managed to pull gold from the mountains, but were ambushed and slaughtered by the Apache. The place where it happened is still called Massacre Grounds, and people still find bits of gold there. The mine is said to lie hidden in the Superstition Mountains named by the Apache, who believed their thunder god lived there. Despite Apache warnings, Spanish conquistadors came hunting for gold in the 1500s. Weeks later, his skull was found with a bullet hole, but his gun was never recovered. In the 1700s, a Jesuit priest picked up the trail, reigniting conflict with the Apaches, who attacked any outsiders that came near the sacred land. But it wasn't until the 1900s that things got truly eerie. One of the creepiest cases was Adolph Ruth in 1931. He vanished with a treasure map passed down from his son. Others think the mine's still out there, guarded by forces no one dares mess with. Coincidence? Murder? Or something darker? Turns out the stash is worth over $90 million in today's money. Even with today's tech, drones, GPS, high-res satellite maps, no one's found the mine's entrance. Some believe Jacob Waltz, the Dutchman, hid the gold before dying and took the secret to his grave. So what about you? Would you brave the Superstition Mountains for a shot at cursed gold? 2. The Beale Cipher, a treasure. Locked in 3 pages of numbers. Now imagine this. You find a 130-year-old string of numbers that supposedly reveals the hiding place of millions in gold and silver, all failing. Before heading west again, he left a locked box with some papers inside at a local inn, trusting the innkeeper, Robert Morris, to keep it safe. If the code landed in your hands, inside, a letter explaining his discovery, and 3 pages full of strange, random-looking numbers. Welcome to the mystery of Thomas J. Beale. Beale claimed he struck it rich in the Rocky Mountains and hauled the treasure back to a secret cave in Virginia. Those pages, he said, held the secret location of the treasure. But things went south. One of them mysteriously died on the way. But Beale never came back, possibly dead. Eventually, Morris handed over the box to a friend, who later made the documents public. One of the 3 ciphers, the one describing what S in the treasure, was cracked using the Declaration of Independence. But the other 2 codes, which tell you where the gold is, have never been solved. Not by code breakers, not by linguists, not even by artificial intelligence. There have been books, documentaries, entire online communities, all trying. Some say Beale never existed, that it was all an elaborate hoax. A shootout followed. Only one survived. But others are still hunting, convinced the ultimate American treasure is just waiting to be found. So what would you do? Would you keep the secret and go after the gold yourself? Or would you bring someone along? 3. The Curse of Cahuenga Pass, the treasure that kills anyone who tries to find it. Back in the 1860s, during a time of political unrest, 4 Mexican agents were smuggling millions in gold and jewels to buy weapons. Scared of being caught, the others buried the treasure in Cahuenga Pass, near what's now Hollywood, planning to come back later. Problem is, a local rancher saw everything. He dug up the treasure himself, but had a terrifying nightmare that same night. He got spooked and reburied it under a big ash tree. When he reached the city, he suddenly fell ill and died, but not before telling a friend where it was hidden. The 4 agents returned and discovered the treasure gone. That friend of the rancher? He tried to recover the treasure with his stepson, but dropped dead of a heart attack as soon as they started digging. Years later, the stepson gave it a go and was murdered by his own brother-in-law the day before the expedition. The only part of the treasure ever found? It was sewn into the lining of a man's coat. He drowned when his ship sank. The weight of the jewels dragged him to the bottom. See the pattern? Everyone who tries to get this treasure dies. Coincidence? Bad luck? Or a real curse guarding something that was never meant to be found? Today, Cahuenga Pass is a fully developed part of LA, filled with buildings and freeways. Some believe the treasure still lies hidden beneath all that concrete, untouched to this day. So tell me, if you knew exactly where to dig, would you go for it? Or would you listen to the warnings of the dead? 4. The Treasure of the San Miguel, the lost fortune of the Spanish Empire. Back in 1715, a Spanish fleet of 11 ships set sail from Cuba, carrying what would be worth over $2 billion in gold, silver, and precious gems today. The fastest and most valuable ship was the San Miguel. It left ahead of the others, hoping to outrun any storms. Some treasure was recovered, but half of it gone without a trace. But nature had other plans. A massive hurricane slammed into the fleet. 10 of the ships wrecked off the coast of Florida, turning the area into an underwater graveyard. As for the San Miguel, it vanished completely. No wreckage, no crew, nothing. Most experts believe it sank alone, away from the rest, carrying the bulk of the treasure with it. Fragments found near Amelia Island hint that the ship might be somewhere in that area, but the wreck itself has never been found. That is why the San Miguel is known as the holy grail of underwater treasure hunting in the US. Even with sonar tech, robotic subs, and decades of searching, no one's found it. And lucky, enough to dive into the dark and claim it. That Spanish gold has been sleeping under the waves for over 300 years, just waiting for someone brave. So tell me, would you risk your life diving into the deep for a shot at $2 billion in sunken treasure? 5. The Treasure of John S. Mosby, the X that was never dug up. During the Civil War, Confederate officer John S. Mosby led a guerrilla unit that specialized in lightning-fast raids. In one of his boldest missions, he and 29 men slipped behind Union lines at night, capturing a general, 30 soldiers, and around 60 horses, a huge prize at the time. Mosby also seized personal belongings from the Union officers, jewelry, gold, silver, and other valuables. But as they were heading back, he got word that Union troops were closing in, so he gave the order, bury the loot between 2 trees and mark the spot with an X. After the war, Mosby made a surprising move. He supported President Lincoln and later served under Ulysses S. Grant. But he never returned for the treasure. Some say he sent Confederate soldiers to retrieve it later, but none of them made it back. The exact location of the X has been lost over time. Some believe it's hidden deep in a private forest in Virginia. Others think it might lie buried beneath roads, buildings, or suburbs. This is one of the few treasures on our list with documented origins. We know the loot existed, but the gold still buried. 6. The Cursed Island of Charles. 3 treasures, 3 curses. Charles Island off the coast of Connecticut is tiny, just 14 acres. According to legend, it holds not 1, not 2, but 3 different treasures, and 3 curses to go with them. The first curse dates back to the 1500s. Spanish explorers are said to have stolen treasure from the Aztec Emperor Guatmozin. But on their way back to the US, every member of the crew died under strange circumstances, except one. Before dying, that last man supposedly buried the treasure on Charles Island. In the 1600s, a Pauguese tribal leader was cheated in a deal with colonists. As revenge, he placed a curse on the island, declaring it would never again bring wealth to anyone through honest means. Then came the infamous pirate Captain Kidd. Before being captured and executed, Kidd allegedly buried part of his fortune on the island and laid down a chilling curse. Let the soul of anyone who touches this treasure be forever tormented. Today, people still report strange stuff out there. Compass needles spinning for no reason, ghostly whispers in the wind, overwhelming feelings of dread. Most folks steer clear by sunset, and yet none of the treasures, Aztec, native, or pirate, have ever been found. Ironically, the island is now a nature preserve and bird-watching spot. But when the tide gets low enough to let you walk across to it, so what about you? Do you think curses can survive the centuries? Would you set foot on cursed ground to hunt for buried treasure? 7. The Lost Treasure of Little Bighorn, the gold that vanished with Custer's men. In 1876, during the infamous Battle of Little Bighorn, also known as Custer's Last Stand, U.S. troops clashed with a powerful alliance of Lakota and Cheyenne warriors. General George Custer and nearly all his men were wiped out. But that wasn't all that vanished that day. According to surviving accounts, the soldiers had just received 4 months' worth of back pay, around $25,000 at the time, or nearly $700,000 today. They carried it in leather pouches, filled with gold and silver coins, plus paper notes. After the battle, the soldiers' bodies were stripped of weapons and supplies. But the fate of the money is still a mystery. Some historians believe the native warriors, either out of respect for the dead or fear of spiritual consequences, buried the treasure on sacred ground, and it's never been seen again. Archaeologists have searched, diggers have dug, but officially, nothing has ever been recovered. Today, the battlefield is a silent stretch of hills in Montana, where only the wind moves among the tall grass. So tell me, should that treasure be left where it is, as a symbol of one of the darkest chapters in U.S. military history, or should someone uncover it and finally bring the story full circle? Over the course of this video, we've traveled through cursed mines, forgotten islands, unbreakable codes, bloody battlefields, and sunken ships carrying billions in treasure. But here's the real question. Do you believe these treasures are still out there? Maybe in the Arizona desert, deep in a Virginia cave, or beneath the waves off the Florida coast, someone someday will find what so many have searched for in vain. And who knows, that someone might just be you. If you enjoyed these stories, make sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment below. Which treasure would you go after? And which one would you leave buried forever? Share this video with that friend who's obsessed with mysteries and historical legends. And until next time, happy hunting.